United Nations agency. This is one of the United Nations arm actually. So international organization ILO is situated in Geneva, Switzerland as the headquarters. So every country is a member to it. Almost all 183 countries are member bodies. So they regularly meet in Geneva, Switzerland, and they discuss what are the different conditions in their country and all. So based on that inputs from governments, inputs from the workers, okay, input from the trade unions. So all the employees, everybody, they take it up, governments, employees and workers. So they take that feedback and they start providing the documents. So those are called International Labor Organization documents, okay. And sometimes they also release it as code of practice. So these are the two things that you need to understand. So there are two things. So either the ILO get released as some number, convention number like 120, 130, 150, because 155 is something related to safety. So 120 may be some quality or something, I just saying. So 155 is something related to this health and safety convention. So this ILO, International Labour Organization, they releases these particular documents where you can go through it, where you can go through and study. This is a important document that needs to be studied by all the three people, the governments, the organization, management. Okay. वो क्या किया? Yeah. So what everybody's roles and responsibilities, everything has been clearly written. Okay. So if you right, everything is clearly written. Suppose if you take right, Article 5. So this is R164. So here, if you see the 16th point, it is clearly written that what are the responsibilities of workers? What are the responsibilities of workers? Can anybody tell me what point, one point, what you understood? I'm keeping this particular document open in front of you. There is A, B, C, D, E. Okay, see, the convention tells that ensuring that the workers. So what are the responsibilities of workers? Polke is written. So as the worker, he should be able to understand this point. So the C point, what is saying? Use of safety devices and protective equipment correctly and do not render them inoperative. Can anybody tell me what does that mean? Why that point is written here? Can anybody tell me why that point? Use safety devices and protective equipment correctly and do not render them inoperative. What does that mean? C point.
Sir, I can explain this point.
Please tell me.
Sir, this means that if you have knowledge about the machines or equipment, then you have to use this. If you do not have the knowledge, then don't use this equipment or machine. Am I right, sir?
No, wrong. No.
Sir, it's mean some workers are not responsible and don't use PPEs as per SOPs.
Yes, to some extent, okay. So I'll tell you. So Mr. Gulam Ishaq, don't worry. So you
Yes,
try to, this is the first class. Don't always feel, if I say no also don't mean that I'll not, every time I'll not open up with it. This is a very good sign that if somebody is talking, so which itself suggests that you are very open and you are very communicative. That itself will, since it is a first day, so by that time we reach another 4 or 5 days, you will become master. Don't worry.
yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. So, but start talking, okay, the way you're told. Please respond. Don't think that it is correct or wrong. Don't get into that kind, okay? If you think that whatever, since now I said wrong, so next time also, aisa nahi hai. I'll tell you what is the correct one. So tomorrow onwards, you can somewhat understand, right? That is the good thing. Until unless you say something wrong, you don't know what is correct. So it is 1,000 times better than being calm saying something. Okay. For as far as this class is concerned, ऐसा नहीं है कि बाहर जाके कुछ ना कुछ बात मत करो. But I'm just telling them. The use safety devices and protective equipment correctly and do not render them inoperative. Means what is saying that the top management has a responsibility to provide resources in the form of protective equipment. Protective equipment means like gloves, rubber, hand gloves, helmets, earmuffs, okay, body pants, shoes, all those things, protective gear that are necessary for the person to wear so that it act like a barrier when he's operating any machine, okay, or handling any chemical or whatever it is. So, or it depends upon the situation. So, the saying that use safety devices. Safety devices are something devices which are attached to the machinery, which are attached because there are so many safety devices that comes along with the machine. So they will ensure that whenever machine gets into some dangerous zone or somebody gets into a dangerous part of the machine unknowingly, there are certain devices that we can stop or press so that they will come to a stop, and they will also help you to ensure that the machine comes to a reset stage and all. So there are certain safety devices. If you see, suppose there are machine guarding. Machine guard is one of the safe, it's one of the equipment device, okay? Or there are two-way switch. See some equipment you cannot operate until unless you operate both the hands for switching on. So those are necessary because when you don't remove the hand, that hand may go and cut in that power press machine or something. So it requires that both of the hands will be removed off. So this machine is so designed that until unless you keep those hands on the, there will be two switches. Both should be simultaneously switched on. Then only the machine will become operational. So such kinds of safety integrated devices, along with the required protective equipment, which are provided by the company, should be used correctly. That is what the statement says. And do not render them inoperative. See, what happens is that some of the company workers and some people out of some untoward thinking, they will ensure that the PPEs are not, they are not properly working. Okay, they may purposefully make sure that these PPEs are not working, or the safety devices or emergency devices or emergency stop devices, whatever. If you make them inoperative or try to bypass those things, okay. So bypassing or trying to, bypass systems like PPS, if you're not wearing correctly, only when somebody is looking at, then only you're making it to wear. All these things will be coming under inoperative conditions. So we should not do that. Means whatever resources are provided in good faith or in good condition or with the intensity, or some kind of intent that you should work under careful conditions, you should not try to bypass those. If you bypass, it will not only harm the person who has bypassed, it can harm other persons who are in indirect and direct line of contact with it. So that is the this one. Is everybody okay with now? Gulamji got it, na?
Yes, sir. Sir, my question
Oh.
is what is the difference between recommendation and convention with practical example?
Okay. So
Practical.
practical in the sense,
Yes, sir.
yeah, suppose see, it is at a national level. Either you and me cannot do it. It should be done by government. Okay. What happens is that when suppose for one country goes to ILO during its meeting at the Geneva office or Switzerland office, the country will say that there are discussion. The country will be given an option either to choose convention or recommendation. So that if the country chooses recommendation, then it can say that yes, it says that as a country, we do not have that much resources to 100% accept this. This is accept convention. I will only accept recommendation. So recommendation means it is like a guidelines. So I will take those guidelines and I will try to implement first. And I will try to implement means I will make it as a national law and try to keep it present to all the companies. So I'll just look at how the companies are performing, whether the guidelines, the whatever points given, are they able to do it 100%, 90%, 80%, I should know it. Na? So if the guidelines, if they adopt into a national law and they check that all the companies are adopting it to some around 40% to 50%, which means that the companies are still not up to that mark to completely implement all the systems. It's due to many things. So companies also should have money, everything, government should support whatever it is. But if they are able to implement 90% of the points which already that convention, that recommendation has given, then you can go confidently go and say that now I am able to implement 90. So please provide the, I will now take it as a convention. Convention means you have to ratify it. That means you have to sign it there, sign a signature in front of all the countries. You have to sign it, saying that I will accept this convention. So now my country is will accept this as a part of our national law. So I'll just make it into a national law and present it. Tomorrow after accepting this, and if you don't implement it will become a point of communicate. I mean, everybody will start blaming you in international scenario that you're not trying to implement, you're not having moral values. I saw those will think. So convention means which you are trying to make it as a national law and implement as a part of your regulatory this one. So that is called convention. Recommendation means you are first checking whether you can actually perform it or not. So that is so most countries they do it. Yeah, tell me. Somebody was trying to say. So most countries what they do is that first they take it a recommendation, ensure check whether how you are trying to confirm it. For that you don't require any sign or signature or something. So guidelines means in the faith of betterment we take that consideration. Okay. So all these things. Okay. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you got it, no, Gulamji?
Yes, sir. It means that convention is laws from government and recommendation is the guideline. That how
Correct.
the project is performed.
Correct. Correct. So guidelines means it is suppose no, I will so I'll tell all of you to now implement please I'll tell all of you that you're not coming with good internet connection. You please take 5G. Please from tomorrow you be on 5G. Is it possible or not?
Sir, here in
Not
Pakistan,
possible. Not
not
possible.
possible.
Not possible. So what you will do, you will take my words as a recommendation. You will take my words as a recommendation. So then you will guidelines. Then you will start looking at where are the 5G networks, where it is. So you'll try to track. So if it, until unless your government or some company in your country does not provide you 5G, you cannot adopt. That's all. That will be still a guideline only. Once you 5G adopts, then if I say that you please get into 5G, then only you can do it. Na? So there is a difference between guideline and a convention. Convention is 100% accepting. Guideline is that checking whether you're capable of it or not.
Got it, sir. Got it. Thank you.
So mostly,
Sir.
yes, sir, Asadji.
Nice explain, sir.
Thank you. If you're this one, so this is how you have to understand the so typically if you open guidelines or convention, so at a individual level it is not required, but since you are a safety also requires some understanding of ILO because you have to relate only ILO now. So typically most of our national laws, everybody country laws are taken from those ILO standards and it is made our own laws and it will be implemented into our system. So that is why we take up. So R164 and C155 are very, very important for understanding for safety. Those are the basic things. So try to download. It is easily available in internet. As I said, just go through that. R164 is more basic than C155 because it is a convention. So until unless somebody is perfect in R164, he cannot come to C155. No? That is why people are more comfortable. First you read R164 completely, then you read C155. So you can understand the difference. So it's more management style, C155. R164 is more guidance style. So it guides. Yeah, I will continue. So this particular R164, you have to refer this because see, anyone across any country, even though whether I'm in my country or whether you're in your country, somebody is in your country, they can always invoke this particular recommendation or convention because ILO is a international this one. You cannot take somebody's country laws into your country. That will become again a non-acceptance. You understood? No, you cannot take somebody's country into your country. ILO is international, so you can always refer. That will be also important in your IG2 also. When you try to give justification for regulatory things, you have to say that as per ILO and all. So ILO is such an important thing. So in this ILO, if you see this technical fields of action to where this particular R164 is actually advisable. So where lighting, ventilation, design, siting, temperature, design, construction, use of maintenance, testing, harmful physical, mental stress conditions, use of electricity, radiation, everywhere. I mean, establishment of emergency. So it is across all multiple things that have been given. Okay. So now, if you see the action at a national level, it is for the governments. At a national level means, so this particular three has to be taken by the nation or the country. So they have to, by taking this R164, they have to provide or take into a proper regulation, code of practice, okay, and provide suitable provisions by that country. So that, and it releases like a document to all companies so that they can provide suitable provisions regarding occupational health and safety. Account being taken of links existing between safety and health on one hand and hours of work and rest break, everything. And from time to time, they have to see how these legislative enactments concerning occupational health and safety are issued. Next, undertake and promote studies and research to identify hazards and find means of overcoming them. Okay. They have to provide information, cooperation, and wherever appropriate, a special training program for migrant workers. Okay, and also they should provide specific measure to prevent disasters, catastrophes in a particular industrial zones. Okay, secure good liaison with international ILO and health hazard alert system. Provide appropriate measures for handicapped workers. So those are the responsibility of the government. Now, responsibility of the employers. What is the responsibility of the employers as per the action to provide and maintain workplaces, machinery and equipment and use work methods which are as safe as without risk to the health is reasonably practicable, to give necessary instructions and training taking account of the functions and capacities of different categories of workers, to provide adequate supervision of work or work practices and of application and use of occupational safety and health measures, to institute organization arrangements regarding occupational safety and health and working environment adapted to the size of the undertaking, to provide without any cost to the worker adequate personal protective clothing and equipment which are reasonably necessary when hazards cannot be otherwise prevented or controlled, to ensure that the work organization, particularly with respect to hazard, does not adversely affect occupation, to take all reasonable practical measures with a view of eliminating excess physical and mental fatigue, to undertake studies and research or otherwise keep abreast of the scientific and technical knowledge necessary to comply with the foregoing clauses. So this many things, the responsibility of the employers, we miss almost all the top management or somebody else. In this, in the first one, if you see to provide and maintain workplaces and all, one minute, somebody has come in this. Yeah. So can I'm keeping this particular thing. That can you tell me what does E tell us? Anybody? What does E? What does it tell us? As the employer, what are you going to take? Just study and tell me, na.
Hello, sir.
Yes,
Good
tell
evening.
me. Good evening. Tell me, sir.
Uh, in this line, they are saying that to provide with any cost to the worker, adequate personal protective clothing, like there may be a protective clothing for workers and equipment which are necessary to do work to prevent any type of disaster. They need to have a safety first.
Yes. But what
Yeah,
is the sentence? What is the sentence? See, to
the sentence
provide,
to provide without any cost to the worker.
what does
Adequate
that mean?
to provide without any cost to the worker, like at any cost. The disaster can't be happen anytime, but at any cost, you have to make your safety first. You have to wear all the safety clothing like shoes and
Yeah.
safety vest, etc.
Okay. To some extent, it is correct, not 100%. To provide
Mhm.
with it without any cost to the worker means, so there are some companies which they say that to the workers that you bring your own PPE, that we will not buy it and give it to you. So that is why that is written there. To provide without any cost to the worker means the PPE, whatever they're providing, what you said, like safety gloves, safety shoes, safety helmet, whatever it is, either it is a equipment or a clothing. Please understand that there are two words here: personal
Yes,
protective clothing and personal protective equipment. Equipment means the thing that you use it to keep it, like helmets, shoes, gloves, spectacles, earmuffs, all those things, respiratory protective equipment, all those things can come under equipment.
yes,
Clothing means your the body clothing that you use it as PPE, like it can be a top coat, a bottom coat, whatever it is. So
right.
those are your personal protective clothing and equipment. Those should be provided by the company itself. They should not charge any money from the workers while providing these things. They should absolutely get free of cost for the work they are doing 24/7, and whenever they demand to be given, that's all. It should not be taken as a cost from the workers. So that is the point. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Uh, uh, which are reasonably necessary. So very important. We only discussed till this part. That's all. The other part is that which are reasonably necessary. Which are reasonably necessary means, suppose a person is going into a toxic atmosphere. Let us say the one worker is
Yes, sir.
exposed to a toxic atmosphere. For him, you have to provide a toxic related respiratory protective equipment like a SCABA or a some kind of a gas protective, depending upon the type of toxicity that can reduce. You have to provide that equipment which actually cuts down the toxicity, or when you cannot cut down the toxicity, you have to provide some external respirator like a SCABA or a supplied air respirator. That's all. Just
Yes, sir.
by just for the sake of saying that I provided personal protective equipment and somebody gives a normal dust mask, that is not acceptable. That is called reasonably necessary. Means you should check what is the requirement, then only you have to provide. So otherwise, just like that, for the sake of photographs and providing, if you provide, then there is no point in safety. That is what they are trying to say. Suppose you have to provide a helmet, shoes. You have to provide a very good shoes as required by IS standards or required by national standards. Just like that, if you buy shoes from some market and second hand and all, if you do, it will not help the safety. So that is what, which are reasonably necessary. Reasonably means as required for that particular job. Then the quality of it should match the quality of the job. That is what they are saying. When hazards cannot be otherwise prevented or controlled. So when you think that hazards are present, it has to be reasonably provided to each and every worker who are working there. So what I'm telling is that these conventions or recommendations, when you study, each line will give you a lot of meaning, and companies should take it in that context, and they have to provide everything as provided in this particular thing. So this is the meaning of this particular E sentence. So if you study G, to take all reasonably practicable measures with a view to eliminate excess physical and mental fatigue. So what is meant by fatigue? It is something that people get tired. Okay, mental tiredness and physical tiredness. So even though you sit and work, suppose if I start speaking for more than 4 hours, what will happen? I may be physically fit, but mentally I'll become, even you cannot listen or I cannot speak. Both will happen. So mentally also it will become a problem, physically also sometimes, because our backbones will start paining and we cannot sit. At least you are somehow, some of you are at least laying down, or some of you are actually sleeping, or in a position, some good position. But I cannot do like that. No? So I need to sit. So that is why, 1 minute. Yeah. So when workers work, they are subjected to both physical pressures and mental pressures. Fatigue means getting tired. That is called fatigue. So when there is a when physical and mental fatigue, it is trying to say that provide the company employer should provide all reasonably practicable measures. Reasonably means justifiable, means it should be matching the situation. Matching the situation. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So that is called reasonably. Practicable measures means practical, which are possible. Just on the piece of paper, if you start writing, I'll do this, I'll do that, I will do that, I will provide fine things. I say, practicably what is possible means, suppose there is a very small space to move there. And if you say that no, I will provide big forklift, I will provide proper automatic systems. You cannot do it because there is no place, first of all, to keep. So first of all, you should try to understand what place you are trying to talk about, whether the place is justifiable, what machinery will be available, we can buy it in that place to eliminate excess physical fatigue. Means suppose a person is carrying on hands, so you will provide conveyor belt, you will provide manual handling aids, or you will provide some roll cages, you will provide some pulley trucks or some mechanical equipment where they can push or pull easily. That is called providing some practicable, some company provide forklift, some company not rich like forklift, they can provide some kind of a pulley truck which can be easily pushed or pulled with a good wheel system. So something depending upon the money and the requirement, that is called practicable measures. Suppose I'll tell you to provide as a same example. I'll tell all of you to come only with 5G tomorrow. That is not reasonable. That is not practicable also. Why it is not practicable? Because there is no signal, first of all, to receive. Reasonable means when government itself cannot provide, how you can do it. So that is what it says that. Okay. So whatever possible, you do it. That only we can do it. So for us, for me, buying a two-wheeler is I can afford only two-wheeler. I cannot go for four-wheeler. So that I like that for me, buying two-wheeler is only reasonably practicable. That's all. I cannot go beyond that. Right? Nah? So that is the example.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Yes. So that is how you have to study everything. And these are important because these questions will project in your scenario based when we come. Well, next, worker selfie. What is workers' responsibilities? All these things. So what does workers' responsibility say that? They have to take care of their own fare. See, there are A, B, C, D, E given. Now, can anybody tell me, take one sentence from this A, B, C, D, E. I will also increase that. A, B, C, D, E. Okay. So okay, already we studied C, no problem. Okay, this is how it will be there. So you need to download that. In the same way, we see 155. You can also same thing. So if you see Article 13 is written for the worker. A worker who has removed himself from a work situation which he has reasonable justification to believe presents an imminent and serious danger to his life or health shall be protected from undue consequences in accordance with the national conditions and practice. Means what it is saying that the company, the country should make the law in such a way that when the worker stops the work with a justification saying that if I continue the work, that will be a threat to my safety, so I will not do that. So typically in companies, if worker denies a work, he can be penalized or punished or whatever it is. So it is saying that such people, such a situation should not arise. So you should give liberty to the workers to stop work or come away from that work in case of unsafe conditions or unsafe acts, and you need to do that. Okay, so that, and you need to provide the necessary conditions and practice for doing it. So if you start studying each article, you will be coming to know that. As of now, don't need to study everything, or just remember what you are trying to do that, because so this is your exam is not something to by heart or remember. It is an open book examination, which means that you should remember what we are trying to discuss. We should not remember. Okay, we should try to understand and try to understand the concept of it. No need to remember each word. Okay, so when in the exam you can come back and refer to each point and you can write it. That is the beauty of this particular examination. So that's what. So I just wanted to give you a brief idea about these two articles before getting into the further of the subject. So this will, so please write it C155 and R164 during your free time tomorrow in the morning. You start studying that. What is R164? What is C155? What is ILO? What does it do? It is some guideline. That's all. So it doesn't. It will help you to understand what those people are doing, why it is important in health and safety. Okay. So as a safety professionals, you should know what is ILO also. Okay. So I'll just invoke.
Sir,
Yeah. Tell me, yeah.
the ILO union can stop the work at the workplace if the mishap for some labor or some person, the union
ILO,
can stop.
no, you're saying union, you're saying. So it all,
Sir, you said ILO is a union
not
of
union.
laborers.
ILO is a organization here. It is not a union. It is international organization.
Okay, sir.
They provide the
Uh,
guidelines. How can they tell, how can they tell to stop? They don't, they are not a union. They provide the guidelines for workers, workers representatives, national country heads, the companies, they provide that. Okay.
Sir, they can't make rules for him.
Who can't make rules?
ILO.
ILO makes rules, no? That is what ILO make rules, and those rules are taken up by the country, and the country will make rules that are required at the national level. So that will be given to the released as a gazette, or it will be released as a act, or it will be released as a this one, and that will be coming into the for the and daily it is and at a company level that will be taken by the company, and they will be start practicing all the things as per, and they will carry all the works as per the particular national law. Okay. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Yeah. So the main responsibility is employers. Employers, you know, who are employers? It is the one who actually provide the money, resources, and all the top management. So in some companies it is top management, some companies it is directors, in some company they are sitting somewhere else. It depends upon company to company again. Employees need to provide 5 health and safety requirements: a safe and healthy place of work, safe and healthy plant and equipment, safe and healthy systems of work, training and supervision, and competent workers. So the word competent also comes frequently in your safety discussion. Competent means, can anybody tell me competent? Who is a competent worker? Competency.
Sir, the competent worker is the active worker and fast worker in her work. The
Correct.
fast member.
Right. So, but in safety, competency means across the, not safety, in a general way to describe competency means to have both knowledge and skill. That is called competency. Or suppose, let me put this way. Okay, in a company, people should be competent. Competent means they should have a hands-on experience and the theoretical knowledge also. Means both theoretical and practical knowledge combined is called competency in that particular area of work. So only knowledge will not give you the required skills to tell everything, or only working on having a skill set without knowledge will also not help you also. So competency means you need to have both things. That is why we call competent worker or competent person, whatever it is. So competent worker who has got that definite knowledge and skill at the position where he is working. For example, let me put this like this. A person is there. Okay, he has come to your company and is giving a lot of description about how to use fire extinguisher, how to catch, how to remove, what is the body made up of, how to you have to catch, how to keep it on this one. Suppose the person, if he doesn't able to reproduce what he is saying, that means he is not able to show the skill.
Yes, sir.
KAT person.
Yes, sir. KPP. What is that person name? Somebody is trying to say something. Yeah, please tell me, sir, what you are trying to say. So, yeah. So what I'm trying to say is that a competent person is the one who has got the required knowledge and skill. So that is the means somebody is theoretically somebody is able to produce something. He should also produce the same thing practically also. So practical thing is called skill, and theoretical thing is called knowledge. Both should go hand in hand. Then only you will have a complete understanding on a particular piece of work. So that's called competency. Is everybody getting it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Sir, I have a question.
Who is this?
Muhammad Umar.
Yeah, Umar can tell me. I am for seeing your name now. After is it the first day for
My
you?
name, sir, my name is Muhammad Umar.
Okay.
I have a question.
Yeah,
Sir,
tell
what,
me.
what is the ILO Occupational Safety and Health Convention C155?
So you are not there in the initial class,
No, sir. Sir,
but
the internet connection was very slow in this place.
see one. Yeah, I understand, Mr. Umar. I cannot go on repeating that for everyone because there is a time scale. So you can review that definition in the video that I will after this class. I will provide this video. You can do in that. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
It is a international level organization.
International Labor Organization. Yeah, it is international level organization. For you need to just get into some internet and type ILO. Small message will come. You can read it. So it's not something very So tomorrow when you don't understand after reading, then you come to me with some doubt and I'll discuss because I cannot again restart the wheel now. Everybody will be getting bored. Okay. So let me continue with the flow of the requirement for today's class. You can get it in your video. Okay, Umar Khan? Yeah. Yes, Mr. If somebody is not talking, they can switch off their mic. Only when they require, only please switch on. It will give some disturbance. That is why. Yeah. Mr. Pir Junaid ji, you please switch off your mic.
जी सर
आपका mic off कर दीजिए.
माइक ऑफ कर दी
Only when you require, only you open it. Otherwise, आपका background music आते रहेगा. मेरे को disturbance आएगा भाई. Right. So now, so I discussed about this what 155 and R164. You can also go to the internet and download these two things and just study. So what will happen? You will get a brief idea. So if you are not able to understand any one or two words or sentences, you can come back to me tomorrow. So hope everybody is clear on that. Now moral reasons we have completed. Now financial reasons. So if you see the financial reasons, I said cost. Costs are two types, direct cost and indirect cost. In direct cost, we have got uninsured indirect cost, insured indirect cost. Don't worry about that. Only remember up to two things, direct cost and indirect cost. The last one is not required. So if you see this particular figure, this is available everywhere in the internet. This what is this? What is that displayed in the photograph? It is glacier. This is ice cube, not ice cube. It is a ice mass that starts. You can see that it floats near the Arctic or Antarctic oceans. So very big glacier. So you might have seen glaciers, that ice mass floating on the water. What we think is that by looking at the top part, we think that much is the ice glacier. No, if you see the bottom part, that will be some 10 to almost 10 times to 50 times bigger. That much will be the glacier. So the 80% of it will be under the water. Only 20% we will be seeing on the top. Only 20% only we will be seeing on the top. The bottom part, what we are trying to see is 80%, which we cannot see with the naked eye. Only the top 20% we can see as an ice mass, that is the glacier. So in order to understand clearly between direct cost and indirect cost, it has given that picture as a glacier. See, the top part which we can see is a direct cost, something which you do not see then. So what is meant by direct cost? Direct cost are the cost for which you got a time frame of giving the money and closing it, and for which we have got a direct bill like thing. So that is a direct cost. Suppose a worker is injured in an accident. So why we should control have health and safety? Because in case of accident, a worker is injured and is hospitalized. So the hospital bill is completely borne by the let us example the company management. So for staying for 30 days in the hospitals, the bill is around 1 lakh. So the hospital fees was 20,000 and this is 10,000. So all these things will come to 130,000, 1 lakh, which is a defined figure. So for all the activities, there is a proper calculation that you can get, and also for which you can be able to properly provide the money in a one shot and close it. That is called direct cost, for which you have got a clear cut information for that. Lost wages. Lost wages, for example, the worker suppose is not coming for 20 days. So 20 is every day having some 100,000 rupees. So 20 into 1,000, 20,000. That's a straight figure. Higher insurance premiums. So the company, as I said, the insurance company will increase now from 5,000 to 2,000, 8,000. So which means is increased by 3,000. So that is a direct cost because everything is calculated and we know what is the exact amount. That is called direct cost. In indirect cost, you cannot measure the cost actually because it goes on continuously, slower step after step. You cannot exactly say when we can stop that cost. Those are called indirect costs. Suppose during the accident, okay, there is a lot of production that is stopped. 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. So we cannot, we can exactly say by losing 3 days production, what would have been the production loss? Okay, some 2-3 lakhs. But we cannot exactly say for startup how much time it will take. Again, to reach the level of daily production, you need to again push the entire system into its full form. That how many days will take? Nobody knows. It may take another 2-3 days. So even after the production is started, there will be some problems because suddenly you shut down the entire system. So there will be always there will be failures in your
working inside.
yeah, Mr. Shanand ji. Yeah,
Yes,
anybody's
sir.
no उसका कुछ mic का किसी का okay, no problem. I thought you were asking some question कुछ
Yes, I was asking a question. Actually, I was asking that, like in indirect cost, it's also include rent for the office, space, utilities, administrative salaries, accounting, legal services. This all also are included in indirect cost, right, sir?
no, those are all direct cost because the salaries and all regular things. Na? For that, there is an actual cost involved. So you know what is the cost of salaries, what is the cost of rent, what is every day every month you are paying a regular amount, na? For which you can exactly get a bill amount, you can get a value and all. So those are all your direct cost.
Okay.
Indirect cost means which you cannot actually calculate properly. For example, tell me in indirect cost, if you see that when the production is lost, okay, suppose when the production is not done, for due to accident for 3 days or 4 days or 1 week or whatever it is, during that time your product is not going to the market. Okay, when it is not going to the market, the dealer or the customer will start choosing the other person. Okay, so when he chooses the other person, other brand, even though the regular brand, if you start pushing into the market, there will be no customers for you. So you don't know how many people are actually left, how many people will actually be in your product side, how the dealers will behave with you, how the dealers will start giving business to you, and how daily sales will be there. Those are all only just predictions. That's all. You cannot exactly quantify how much will be the loss. So one day some dealer will say, no, from tomorrow we'll take. He may not take. So those are all your indirect cost. So again, you have to pay some amount to dealer saying that, no, sir, I'll give a discount of 30%. Please, somehow sell that. We are so we'll start giving that 30% extra, which was never decided in our regular operation. So 30% is some again cost which was burdened. So that is called indirect cost. Again, training cost. Suppose the worker who is injured may not be replaceable. Matlab, there is no other worker who is trained. Again, you have to bring one person or send this person to another place to train them, and you have to shell out some money. So we cannot say